Okay, let's grab a question now out of the You Don't Know My Life box.
That's right. A game that you can purchase yourself. You Don't Know My Life. It's a board game you can find anywhere you buy games. And a movie called A Holiday Fiasco is made based on an incident from your life. What happens in it?
This is why I love this game because, on the Friends that we always encourage you to share your story. This churns up your stories, right?
Yes.
That's why I love this game so much. So, one more time, Melissa.
Yeah, and these are stories that you probably have never told your friends, even though you've known them for years. Okay, let's say there's a movie, because this is hypothetical. A movie called A Holiday Fiasco is made, and it's based on an incident from your life. What happens in that movie?
Are you ready for this? Okay.
I'm ready.
So this is at my family Thanksgiving. We always get together with extended family. And I don't have a huge extended family, but it's big enough that, it takes a couple of dining room tables in order to get everybody around it. And this is when my parents were still living in St. Petersburg, Florida. So we travel home, make a big meal, line up buffet style in the kitchen. Everybody loads up their plates. And this year I was hungry. I could not wait to dive into all of it. My mom makes a squash casserole that I just love. My aunt makes the best sweet potato casserole and mashed potatoes and turkey. And I mean, the plate was piled high. Okay.
Mhm.
So I go to sit down in an open spot, and it's just like that in my family. Like, you grab a plate on the buffet and then you go sit wherever's open. It's not assigned seating. So I sit down next to my uncle, and his plate looks a whole lot different than mine. He doesn't have as much stuff on it. And I was like, what's going on? Are you not hungry today? Did you already eat too much? And he said, well, let me tell you, this year I figured out that I have an intolerance to gluten. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. And he's like, so I have to eat gluten free, and there's only a few things on the, buffet that I can definitely have or whatever. And this is an uncle that likes to tell real long winded stories with a whole lot of detail. And that is when, at the dinner table, when I'm mid bite in this delicious meal I cannot wait to plow through, he tells me how he discovered that he was gluten free from his bad case of jock itch. And then went into detail on what that
Damn.
looked like, how
No,
he found it, the pictures he
no,
took on his phone to show his doctor about it,
no. He didn't try to show you, did he?
all while I'm mid-bite.
Oh, that's your niece. Don't tell stories about your area.
That's my holiday fiasco. I'm telling you, it was like a movie where when he started talking about his jock
Oh.
itch, that the whole soundtrack stopped, where it's like everything's going on and then it's like record scratch and it's
Oh.
quiet on the whole movie
That's
set.
where everybody would turn and look at him. That's the scene where yeah.
That's real life.
Oh,
That's my life. Yeah.
come on. That yes, okay, here's a lesson from that. Ladies and gentlemen who listen to us, as we get older, because this show is for people over 40, as we get old, don't talk about your physical ailments. That is
Nobody
not
wants
top
to
nobody
know.
cares. Nobody
Nobody
cares.
cares. Nobody wants to
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
please keep it off the dinner table.
Yeah. I mean, Jen won't talk about her bunion at the dinner table. So
Mm-mm.
don't talk about no. I mean, for some reason, I don't know why that becomes I mean, I know you're fascinated by how your body changes as you get older, but that don't talk about it.
No,
Oh,
no.
sorry.
Yeah.
Well, all I can think about, and this was consistent because it was the way we celebrated, and this was usually Christmas, not Thanksgiving. But when my parents were still alive, they both of their families lived in Kentucky, so they moved away from their families to have theirs. So we always had to travel up to Kentucky for the holidays. And when I was really young, it was the Carter family, it was my father's family that we saw more. And then as I grew older, it was mom's family that I saw more. And that's a no whole other story. But mom's family had an inner conflict for several years, which kept
Mm.
her away, which was sad. So in my elementary school years, I was going to the Carter house, and they were very boisterous people. So my father was big personality. His sister's all big personality. He came from a family of like 8 people. So
Wow.
so it's this full full
If
on,
you
and my
weren't loud, you got ignored.
you got ignored, right,
Yeah.
and my father was the oldest of all these siblings. So, for some reason, though, and I never analyzed this as a child, but, going from Nashville up to Lexington and the area was a long trip. I mean, that's a good 4.5, 5 hours, to and for some reason, my father wanted to be home that night. So we did not go up to Kentucky and spend days and get a hotel room and spend time with them. We literally got up first thing in the morning. We drove to Kentucky on curvy roads, I remember. So I'd get car sick on the way.
Yeah.
Then we'd get up there and we'd have this big to do, and we would have, presents and all this stuff and see everybody and board games and food and laughter and loudness and all this stuff and big activity. And then we would leave and get in the car and drive back to Nashville. 8 hours round trip. And again, as a kid, I just went along, get along. Now I wish he was alive to say, why did you not want to spend time? I think he wanted to get away from the fam. Like, I think he went as a
Yeah.
courtesy.
He's like, "It's an
I just
obligation to show up. I'm gonna
and
show up, we're gonna do the things, and then we're gonna get out of there."
and I just remember
Oh.
my siblings were teenagers at this time, and I remember they would fight every time, like, "Why do we have to go? Why do we have to go?" Because we were having fun. We were having fun with our cousins and stuff. But yeah, so when I think of holiday fiasco, I just think of the preparation and getting there, and if I got car sick, having to pull over, and then getting there and having to have fun, and you have fun, and you have fun. Now we gotta get back in the car, and then we have to go home again on these curvy and yeah, we'd be home like at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, but by God, we'd be home.
There's
And
a backstory there.
right?
There is definitely a backstory that you don't know
Yes.
about.
The hell? And it was just normal. For me, that was normal. We just, it's just what we'd either go to a Farm Bureau event. My father worked for Farm Bureau, and that was always fun. And then it was Farm Bureau dinner, and then going doing our whirlwind tour. I mean, that was a long damn day for a 5-year-old. But anyway, so yeah, I would say that's the holiday fiasco. It's like a very National Lampoon movie to me. Is if you knew, is
Yes.
getting there, doing the thing, and then getting out. And
Yes,
the
I can
and
hear the soundtrack now.
right?
Yes.
Oh, anyway, so that's yeah, that was my holidays growing up.